Thank you, Peter, and good morning to everyone. Just a quick intro, real quick, about, sorry, let me just get the slides here. About Devon Energy. We are more than a 50-year-old company, been around for a long time. We are in the upstream oil and gas sector. So if you look at this picture behind the words here, this is pretty typical of a facility for us. We've got thousands of facilities in the upstream oil and gas industry. So that is quite a bit different than some of the other presentations that talk about manufacturing plants and large facilities. It definitely comes with different challenges. We operate from the northern side of the United States all the way down to South Texas, so several geographic areas within the United States. We produce over 800,000 barrels of oil equivalent. We have about 50% of that is oil and 50% being natural gas and natural gas liquids. So that's a little bit about Devon. When I get into the next slide, I'm going to kind of tell a story as you guys read through this. Being in the upstream side for 25 years, there's been some pretty significant changes. I remember 25 years ago when, it was a big deal to collect, 15 data points once an hour, and that there wasn't just a lot of data, but the field was happy, the engineering was happy. And when you fast forward today, you're talking about streaming data sets, you're talking about 1,500 data points at a facility. And the big kicker around all this, we don't have more people. We actually don't. We probably have less people. We probably have less engineering. We probably have less field staff. So in my mind, I think about it as a data overload. I think we've been doing a great job for 25 years bringing in more data, but it's got to a point where AI is got to happen. The data overload for our field employees, it's just too much. You're talking about hundreds of reports, hundreds of visualizations. It just doesn't work. People can't screen that much data. We have a ton of data at our company. I think Don mentioned it yesterday in his presentation. We have somewhere in the world of 11 million data points. It's impossible to go through that data. So AI is very important to us. So what was our challenge? Our challenge today that I'm going to talk about is, how do we really integrate our OT data with the rest of the company's data? So when you think about, environmental data, you think about permitting, you think about, financial data, work order data, lots of data in our company. The number one problem for us is OT data wasn't integrated. And we set out to solve that about a year ago and partnered with Radix and are getting there, right? That is really the kicker for us, and so we can broaden our AI capabilities across the board, regardless of what area that might be in. So we implemented a product called Leafcutter. It's a Radix developed product. And the only thing I'm really going to talk about is kind of the top three circles here. Starting with kind of the top right is the ability to kind of integrate whatever data you want. For us, we decided to actually stream all of our data into our data lake. But you have the capability if you want. If you just don't want a specific data points, that's great. But for us, we wanted it all. We have a lot of projects around ML right now, a lot of analytics stuff, and we became a bottleneck in the OT space. So we are pushing everything we can. It was very important for us on the latency side to stream this data in as fast as possible. We have business cases and we have projects today that we're trying to spit out models every few seconds, right? Especially drilling space, completion space, or even in the production space. There's a couple examples. So super important to have that kind of latency. And then this slide might be outdated a little bit, but the middle one is, I think we're streaming now like 500 million, 450 million data points per day. So pretty impressive system. And with that, like I said, what that gives us is the ability to integrate to everything else we have. So this is kind of the architecture around this. Pretty simple. We use the PI system. We use the asset framework in the PI system to contextualize our data. And with that, We move all of that data through Leafcutter into a Kafka instance, and from there we can move it where we want. We wanted a very open architecture around this. Kafka gives us that. So if for some reason we decide we don't want Snowflake one day, then we can go somewhere else with that data. But today it is Snowflake. So pretty simple architecture around it. I don't know if this slide will actually play by itself, or you know what button to click.
No, these were just screenshots.
There was a video. So anyway, we had a video here. I don't know where it went. Let me see if I can go forward. But the video was just showing how easy this is. Once the system's in place, I think it took maybe a couple days to stand up the system. There's some dependencies that you need to have at your organization to stand it up. Once you have it up, I mean, it's a 5-minute job to get this thing stood up, and we are pushing data to Kafka. We actually chose to customize the Kafka to Snowflake, but there's plenty of third-party products out there to push that data where you want. But for us, we did customize that. Oh, there it goes. So, yeah, as you can see, you set up a job name, you choose your server. And then we based this on a hierarchy, so we were able to choose basically the different hierarchy in the AF we wanted. So that's what the video is going through right now. So that's really it. Once you do that, you have a job, and then you turn around and enable your job, and the next screenshot will show that you have streaming data coming through your Kafka broker. So. It's very cool. So yeah, for us, I mean, pretty quick presentation here, but in a broad sense, we are trying to basically integrate all that data so that we can open up all the different projects across the company. We are not the only ones doing ML. We have subsurface teams, we have drilling completions teams, we have environmental teams, we have all kinds of teams. I would say that OT data is probably the most important data that's not there today. So we are doing that, and it's exciting times, and that opens up a ton of possibilities for us. So I think that's all I had.